Information war. It's Alex Jones.
And the colors of the sea.
I can now announce, it's true. At the first of the show, I said we were #1 on trending and #3 on overall news apps. We're now #1 on the Android and #1 on Apple. So that just happened. We are #1 against apps that have been up there for years, like the Huffington Post and CNN. They are flipping out. And just this morning, I saw 3 reports. I couldn't even watch them all, but articles on CNN saying ban Alex Jones off of iTunes apps and off of Android. Gavin, I hate to make this about me, but this is getting absolutely, totally insane. I launched an app 3 weeks ago, figuring all this was coming up, a new one. This happens, and it has got a 4.9 stars. They are, I got to tell you, I think they jumped the shark, like the NFL taking a knee and losing 40% of their viewers, or Hollywood losing 35% of their revenue, going out against Trump. I mean, but like you said, they're destroying themselves. They can't stop. Where does this go?
Well, it goes with starvation, with information starvation. It goes with a socialist country that starts to eat itself, like we're seeing this in Canada. We saw this in Britain. They open the borders to mass immigration, and they say, replace this population. I want people who owe me one. And the next thing you know, the country's gone. And this is very unique to America, this whole idea of different voices. The Brits actually started it by encouraging all these different newspapers down the East Coast. And they said, make it right wing, make it left wing, have debates. And the next thing you know, we go, this is fun. This is colorful. This is interesting. This is humorous that we're using sarcasm and irony, and I'm enjoying myself. Let's start a whole country on this and kick the British out. And they did. And now we're getting back to this monarchy mentality where we can't have conspiracy theories. What the hell is the matter with a conspiracy theory? That's called a theory about someone conspiring. And you had a bunch of conspiracy theories about how they were going to the government was going to try to deplatform you. Turns out that's not a theory anymore. It's a fact. This is like a war on curiosity, fun, humor. It's a war on color. It's a war on what makes America great.
Well, you're right. You're right. I kind of self-censored myself Sunday morning. I get up. They say a drone has shot missiles at Maduro. I watch all the footage. I go, it's probably a false flag. He's a dictator. He's teetering on collapse. Brazil's have to close its border because millions are trying to flee, just like we're having to. Oh, but they're not racist when they do. And so I didn't do anything on it. And then suddenly I read the mainstream news. They go, the U.S. government thinks he staged it or it didn't even happen, or a gas main blew up in a building across the street. The point is, known liars, you don't believe them, you question them. It doesn't mean that you're sure it didn't happen or did. You have a right to question known liars, and that's the point. But what about the fact that 4 million people have already fled Venezuela in the last 6 months, and now millions are trying, like zombie apocalypse, to flee socialism into Brazil that has its own problems. Brazil's going the way of Trump in their election, so they're trying to ban free speech. I mean, this is crazy.
Yep. It's a disturbing pattern. And you know what they say the left says to that, right? They go, no. Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, China, Cambodia, North Korea. None of that is the kind of socialism I want. I want Finland. I want Norway. I want all these Northern European countries. And you go, they're on the way down. They're using the money they had when they were free market, and they're literally spending their grandparents' and their parents' money. So that's not a model we want to mimic. And this whole idea of socialism being the future of the Democratic Party, which many Democratic politicians will proudly say is the end of America. And the thing that scares me about that is they don't just want to change America, like the classical liberals wanted to alter some bad things, and I think they were wrong, but at least they had a plan. This is just, let's burn it to the ground. They don't want to debate. They don't want the truth to come out. They don't want to, get to something that's more a meritocracy. They just want to destroy everything. They want to burn your house. And if they die too, that's fine. They don't care. Like Bill Maher says, let's destroy the economy so we can get rid of Trump.
That's right. Gavin, let me ask you this question. Alexandria Cortez, everyone she endorsed lost in primaries to other Democrats. All the Democrats so far have lost in these special elections last night. I think this is going to send them into even more shrill, like you said, obsessed, crazy old girlfriend, fatal attraction mode.
Yeah, it really is. And the other thing they don't get is that no one agrees with them. Millennials love socialism because they never got a paycheck and they didn't see how much to take out. Remember your first paycheck when you're working at the gas station and you get it back and you go, what? They're taking that much out of every single check? Where's it going?
And you're in the lowest tax bracket and they're taking a third out of it.
Yes. Yeah, the amount of tax I pay has been going up every year my entire life. And I can't take it anymore. I'm mad.
Well, I've gone to big tax lawyers and top ones, and they go, listen, Alex, you know, the amount of money you have isn't that much anyways. You can't do stuff offshore. All the big boys are allowed to. All the elites go to the special law firms that are run by former attorney generals, and then they all pay zero tax. That's part of the elite club, and they all go offshore, like Bezos and Tim Cook. These people admittedly almost pay no taxes, but they lobby all day to raise taxes on people like you and me. You actually try to open a company, have a restaurant, a car dealership. You got 50, 60, 70 employees. The way they do all the stuff now, getting rid of the loopholes, I pay federally 50%. So I'm trying to bring all this money in constantly, you know, and they're calling it profit when I'm buying infrastructure. It's total screw job. People don't know.
And America knows that. Middle America, flyover states, everywhere outside of New York and LA, and we just saw in Ohio, Middle America understands that jobs are really the only thing that matters, and Trump is providing jobs. So they're scared because they're scared that you and I and Trump are making the right seem a lot more attractive, a lot more fun. We have more millennials identifying as right-wing than ever before, or at least not since the early 80s.
And Generation Z. So let me ask, that was my next question. Your Proud Boys, great patriots. They call them white supremacists. About a third of them are big, handsome black guys and Hispanic folks. But what was going, and like the poor little Hispanic guy on, you know, who has a neurological disorder, they beat him up in Berkeley. He's fought back and kicked their ass, even though he's on a walker. I mean, these are the images they can't stand. And those are all the videos, I think were the last straw, that had millions of views despite their shadow ban on our Facebook and our YouTube fan pages. So they panicked when we had 4 reporters covering the event in Portland, the event in Berkeley, where thousands showed up. Only Antifa got arrested. They were such scum. And when your crowd and the prayer vigil crowd was more diverse, big, probably about demographically, was more diverse, 15% black, about 20, 30% Hispanic, and they were all hugging each other and loving each other. This, I think, sent them into conniption fits, and the polls show it. Double the number of Hispanics and African Americans are supporting Trump and Republicans than they were just 6 months ago. This is a landslide. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, they hate that their pet blacks have left the plantation. And you'll notice they don't talk about David Duke or Richard Spencer or avowed white nationalists. They throw that around at people like you and me because they know it's not true, and they have to do something to sink us because they know we have this massive appeal. They know we're funny. They know when you had the tinfoil hat on your head, you're being hilarious. But they go, I can't show that. I have to push the big lie and get these people out. Like, you know what's a great example of all this bullshit propaganda? Excuse my language. Dinesh D'Souza. He has 0% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 90% audience rating. I mean, doesn't that sum up the massive agenda the left has?
Say that again. Say that again. The little imperiums, you know, who give fake ratings to whoever pays them, that's well known for terrible movies. You know, the people at Rotten, the establishment has a total negative rating for D'Souza's amazing film, but the public's 90%. It shows the fraud.
It's a massive, giant gap. And Charles Murray talked about this in Coming Apart. We have a massive gap now between the elites and the Midwest. And at least, you know, at least the monocle-wearing elites of the past, they knew they were distant. They had their top hats, and they had their scented handkerchiefs they put on their face when they walked by the poor. These dummies, these rich elites at CNN and the globalists, they actually think they understand middle America, and they are in touch with what we want. No, we don't think of speech as terror. We don't care. You talk about hate speech, like they say, free speech is good, but it doesn't include hate speech. It includes everything, dummy. We don't want rules. We want total freedom. And the more you push these rules and regulations, the more you ostracize young people.
And a great example is what just happened in InfoWars. #1 app, period, in news on both Apple and Android. And CNN is freaking out saying remove us. How obvious is that? We're back with 5 more minutes with Gavin McInnes. We have other